All right, hello. Just explaining a shoulder routine I did 7/28/2024. Uh, this was a kind of a longer routine, kind of spur of the moment. Some of these exercises I'd never done before, like the dumbbell hang clean and press. Never really done that one. I've done it with a kettlebell, but never with a dumbbell. And then the dumbbell high pull. Um, so what I did here was the first thing I did was a tricep with the dumbbell side, front, and rear raises. Um, Now, after I did that one set, that tricep, I went directly to the dumbbell hang clean and press. So I alternated what I had done. So you'll notice that in the video there. I jumped from one exercise to the next. Um, did a total of 7 sets for the tricep, dumbbell side, front, and rear raises. And then I did 6 sets for the dumbbell hang clean and press. And the reason for that was is I kind of fatigued faster on the hang clean and press. So nothing too scientific about it. Just kind of decided to stop. Probably could have done another down set, but felt like I was pretty fatigued. So just worked up to heavy weight and then did a down set. And it looks like one down set for both exercises. The last thing I did, it's kind of iffy. I feel like the lighter sets were pretty decent, but when I worked up to the 1 rep maxes, I felt like it was a little bit sloppy, especially the 103 pound reps that I did. I was kind of worried about smashing my feet, so I kind of just let it fall. It does kind of look like I slam it down, but that's kind of like, so when you pull it up, it directly pulls you back down because I wasn't really focusing on holding the tension at the top because it's just to try to explosively pull it up. So kind of a sloppy exercise. At least I did it a little bit sloppy. Probably could have cleaned it up a little bit. So just worked up to a heavy single and then did a down set. I do feel like I should keep doing these. Probably not like I was doing them. Probably just more work the reps kind of thing. I do feel like those were very effective. I did like them. But I haven't done them since because I'm bad at being consistent. I'm working on it. But no, I feel like that was a good exercise and I need to stick with that. So I plan to throw those back into my rotation. Just explaining sorry, I forgot to explain this from the dumbbell side, front, and rear raises. The heavier weights, I did start cheating a little bit. I tried to keep the other ones a little stricter, but the heavier weights, I did cheat. Especially on the 38 pounds, I did cheat, swung quite a bit. If you've never swung on your side raises or anything, I would recommend doing it at least every once in a while. Don't make that your primary way of doing it, of course, but it does overload the delts, and I believe it does benefit in some manner. So I would at least try it, every once in a while. It's kind of like, how Arnold cheated his bicep curls a little bit with the cheat curls. It offers a benefit. If you see people with the biggest muscles, they do cheat most of the time on the heavier sets. I mean, you just see it. So if you've never done, and it's within reason, like don't get me wrong here. We're not saying throw on 1,000,000 pounds and just cheat away, but within reason, just cheat just a little bit of momentum. It's not going to hurt you. It will benefit you if you do it correctly. So research how to do it correctly, and I do recommend giving it a try. An exercise that I also like to do is kettlebell swings, side raises, just swings. You do enough reps of those, you will start to feel quite a bit of a burn. So this was a rather long routine, and I was quite out of gas towards the end, but I feel like it was very beneficial, and I will probably, the dumbbell hang clean and press, I think I almost like that more than the kettlebell. And the reason for that is I don't have access to the round kettlebell, so it's a plate loaded kettlebell. So when I swing it up, I feel like sometimes if I don't do it correctly, and it's more me not doing it correctly, but it'll slam in the back of my arm. Probably just need to build up some toughness, but with the dumbbell, you're not going to get that. But you're also probably not going to be able to handle as much weight as the kettlebell. But if you've never tried a hang, clean, and press single arm with the dumbbell, I would recommend it. I think it's beneficial. But on that note, that is all I did for that routine. So if you have any questions, comments, or tips, feel free to leave them down below. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.